Hello and welcome back to Small Talk. We've got a great episode ahead as we chat with a pair from Wisconsin Superior. I'm your host, Katie Mucci. Each week on this show, we highlight the past and present of Division III, with both current and former student athletes joining to talk about their experiences, their favorite on-campus spots, the craziest road trip stories, and more. This week, we're chatting with Nia Wilson, a member of the women's soccer team, alongside a former member of the program, Anna Bratley. The two talk about team pranks, the growth of the program, the future of Division III, and more. Thanks for joining this week. Now it's time for some small talk.
Hi, my name is Nia Wilson, and I am a current member of the women's soccer team at the University of Wisconsin Superior.
Hi, my name is Anna Bratley, and I'm a former member of the women's soccer team at the University of Wisconsin Superior.
Thank you both so much for being here. I'm excited to chat with you. I don't know if we've had a women's soccer episode. This is like our 46th, 7th episode. We're doing 50 for our anniversary, and we're almost done. I don't know that we've had women's soccer yet. So welcome. Excited for you guys to be our women's soccer reps for this podcast. First, we'll start our conversation out on campus. So you guys aren't too far removed from each other. You did play together for a year or two. I'll call it a year and a half because I guess it was a bit of a weird time for you when you first started there, Nia. But we'll start out our conversation on campus. So with you, Nia, when you think about you and your teammates hanging out, favorite spots, what are some of those spots around campus and off campus in the local community if you guys always are at those places? And then Anna, is it the same from when you were there?
Yeah, so for me, it's a little bit unique, I would say. So I'm from Superior, born and raised, lived here my whole life. So my freshman year, I actually lived at home, which is a bit different than most other student athlete experiences at UW Superior. So I didn't really spend a lot of time on campus. I was more at home, and during COVID, it was difficult. But as I've gotten older and start to hang out with my team, like on campus, my sophomore year, I would say that our wellness center, which is where all of athletics is housed, that's where I would spend the most time. A lot of us will spend a lot of time in our coach's office. She loves to chat. So if you stop in for a quick question, sometimes you'll end up in there for an hour or two just chatting about life and things. So it's a great place to be. So I would say was my take on the best hangout spots.
Anna, how about during your days?
Yeah, that's probably about the same. We're definitely in the wellness center quite a bit. I mean, that's where we spent our workouts were there, like everything was there. We were just, I would say out of every building, I was probably in that one the most. But it does have a lot of like nice areas just to hang out in between classes or even do homework. So that's definitely a good spot to hang out. I would say otherwise, like overall campus, a lot of people hang out in the Yellow Jacket Union, which is where the cafeteria is. It's also got a bunch of spots to hang out, and it's got some like a la carte options that people will go and get food at during the day. So I would say that's also another hot spot on campus was the YU.
If you're trying to get a good meal off campus, maybe, well, I guess Nia, for your parents are always in town, but if you're going out to dinner with your parents or something, or going to think of any good spots around town that people would want to go to.
Yeah, actually, Anna, you unfortunately are missing out. We've opened a few new places in Superior. So I'd say my go-to spot right now is Boulder Tap House. It just opened probably 3 months ago, and I've been there a lot of times in those 3 months. It's like a American food, like burger, fries, things like that. But they also have like tacos and a bunch of different options. Also, I think if you trek over the bridge, my favorite would be the Bene, and that's like an Italian restaurant. It's a little more fancy. That's more of like a birthday or like a celebration type spot. And then my roommates and I spend a lot of time eating Quick Trip food, I will say. Quick Trip is the spot in Superior.
You know, that Quick Trip menu does go well.
It is always expanding too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you go in there and there's always something new.
Exactly. Anna, how about you? Anything that you remember?
Yeah. I would say it was called Seven West. I don't know if it's even still is it's still
Yeah.
even open. But
Yeah, that's a good spot.
that is a good spot. They had this really good dipping sauce with their cheese curds that I just loved. So we would go there all the time. They had really good burgers. Otherwise, like for good breakfast, they had Julie's right on Belknap, and that one it was so busy. It's so hard to get a table there on a Sunday morning. But food was always pretty good. Otherwise, I think we went to that pizza place, the VIP pizza. Whenever my parents were in town, we would hit that one quite a bit, and that was a good spot. They have good pasta and stuff. So
It is dinner time while we're recording this, so I'm getting so hungry right now hearing about all these things. Awesome. Well, let's think off campus now. So when you're traveling, I looked up your schedule for the last few years. You guys don't go too far from Minnesota, Wisconsin, it looks like. But let's think of just like favorite trips. I know you've also been to the NCAA tournament many years in a row. So you've probably gotten to go to some fun places there. So Anna, I'll have you start this one. In your time there, what are some of those favorite trips you guys took? And maybe it was far, maybe it wasn't that far.
yeah, we actually went to Texas. I think it was my sophomore year, and that was pretty interesting. That was like one of our first like actual team trips that we ever did. So it was kind of a learning experience for everyone, I think. It was kind of unfortunate. There's not like a lot of clusters of D3 women's soccer programs, and Texas just happened to be one of those clusters. However, it was August, so it was super hot, and you know, everyone on the team is pretty much from in Minnesota or Wisconsin. So all of us were like not used to August Texas heat, and we actually ended up having to like stop one of our games because it was too hot. But anyway, you live and you learn. But that was definitely an interesting experience going there. We got to go to a rodeo and everything and go full Texas with the rodeo. So that was pretty fun. Otherwise we took a trip. I can't even remember if it was Madison or Milwaukee, but it was like a 6-hour bus trip. It was very, very long. But we actually ended up camping one night in our head coach's Allison's parents' yard. And that was also interesting, but it was the night before a game actually, and we went camping. I'm not sure who planned that trip, but we all slept terribly and we probably played even worse. But definitely something I'll always remember for sure.
That's funny. Naya, how about you?
Yeah, I wasn't around for either of those experiences. I guess when I think about our like tourist or going to like cool places. So this past year we played lacrosse in the national tournament, first round, and I've been to lacrosse before, like gone on family trips, but it was super cool to experience it with my teammates. We had a hotel kind of near downtown lacrosse, so we were able to just all go as a group to this ice cream candy shop, and we were able to walk by the Mississippi River, I believe it is, and it was super cool to be able to have that experience with my teammates. Anna talked about how they went to Texas. We're currently planning a trip right now, and it's kind of crazy because we're going to Costa Rica in January. So I'm super excited for that, and we'll be playing games. I'm hoping we don't need to stop any of them due to heat issues, considering it'll be January and not Texas in August. But I'm super excited about that, and I think that'll be a good time for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I am a Texas native, so I was cringing when you said that, Anna, because I can imagine. I remember playing sports in high school, like the conditioning camps over the summer before you started, that it's so humid and hot, and this poor team from the north.
Yeah, we were very, very unprepared. That's for sure. Like you knew it was gonna be hot, like it was Texas. You're like, okay, it's gonna be hot, but like you don't realize how much that actually affects your body, especially like athletically and trying to perform.
100%.
It was
No
not a
amount of
good
water
idea.
can help you. No. Let's talk about back up north, Superior. So you guys obviously, we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, Naya, but when you're in high school, you're figuring out what you want to do post grad, and you obviously have options. And I'm sure soccer played a large part in this, or for you, Naya, was basketball initially. But Naya, I'll have you start this one. Just what was kind of the reason that you decided to go to Superior? What were some of those things that stuck out to you about that school and made you want to choose that? So Naya, and then Anna, you can start.
Yeah, so I guess for me, I had just started searching for kind of where I wanted to go. I'd kind of narrowed down that I wanted it to be in a pretty close radius to Superior. Family's super important to me, so having them a short drive away was always super important. So when I got recruited to UW Superior, it was actually for basketball initially. And I'd kind of said, I don't really know if I want to play basketball in college, like I'd rather play soccer. So I messaged the coach then back and said, I'll meet with you, but I also want the soccer coach to be there because I'm interested in that. And so I came in, had the meeting, and I didn't even need to go anywhere else. It felt right. Like that's a very cliche thing to say, but when you go into a meeting like that and it just feels right, and you go tour the school and it just feels right, I was like, this is home. Like it actually is home. So that makes it even better. But it was just one of those, I just kind of knew it was the right fit, and my intuition has definitely been correct. I've had such an amazing experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, I honestly, Superior wasn't even on my radar for a while. When I was first looking at colleges, they're kind of in a slump. They had a history of being bad before, Allison came in and kind of changed the program around. So it really wasn't on my radar. And then Allison had sent me an email, saying, come check us out. Like, it's worth your time. So I said, hey, why not? So we went and took a trip down there. And after having that first meeting with Allison, I could see that she had such a clear vision for where she wanted the program to go. And I think that really spoke to me a lot, that she really wanted to change the program and to make it better and to make it a really competitive program. So that was really cool for me. And I could tell that she cared not only about excelling athletically, but also just like me as a person and my academic goals and my personal goals. I could see that that was also really important to her. And as a possible incoming freshman, it was really reassuring to know that she would be on my side and be a support for me in a completely new situation. So that was definitely, I think that first meeting with her, I was like, I really connected with her and her vision for the program. And I feel like after that, like every other place that I even thought of, I was like, like it's not going to be that, and that's what I want. So that I think that really was the factor for me.
Awesome. And when you think about your academics there, I guess first you, Anna, what was your major when you were?
I majored in accounting, which I actually came in undecided, so that was also a bit stressful. And I think having Allison support me and other staff and faculty at the university kind of helped me make that decision was it was important, and definitely appreciate that as I went through the process.
Definitely. And you're only a couple of years removed, so I'm sure you can remember it. But any classes or professors that stick out to you from your time that you really enjoyed?
Not so much as a class, but there was one professor, her name is Rachel. She was one of the main accounting professors in the major. From the first class that I had with her, I really liked her. I appreciated that she was always predictable. Every single class, I know Naya, you can speak to this as well because you've had Rachel, but every single class, it was like you came in, she would lecture, she'd give you homework, and off you went. Like it was every single class was the same thing. Every week it was the same thing. And just having that predictability was actually really nice. And I enjoyed that structure quite a bit. And then later, as I moved through some of the upper level courses of the university, I actually, got smaller classes. So we got to know her a little bit better as well. And was just a really enjoyable professor. So she was definitely my favorite.
Naya, what is your major?
So I'm a marketing and a business management major. So that means that I took accounting as one of my core classes, and Anna was talking about Rachel, and I had her for both of those. Was lucky enough to. I really enjoyed her as a person as well. I will say I really hated the subject matter, and I was like, Anna, you're crazy. I don't know how you're gonna go and be an accountant, but more power to you. Um, but for me, I guess my favorite professor I would say is Jennifer Garland. I think maybe Anna's had her in her academic career, maybe not. But I've had a lot of classes with her, a lot of entry core classes and a lot of upper level classes. For me, she's super approachable, super helpful. Like she's helped me in things such as like my career path. Like we've sat down and talked about what I need to do to get where I want to be. And then also her classes are a very interesting structure, I would say. When you get to her upper level courses, she has it laid out so that you're doing a academic service learning project, which is super unique because we get to work with businesses in the community and help them with whatever the course subject matter is. We kind of learn about it and teach these business owners how to implement it into their businesses. So it's super cool because it connects us with businesses in the community and also provides us a different way of learning. I think sometimes the typical test, quiz, textbook way of learning is great, but sometimes breaking that mold and being able to actually be immersed into the business setting has been life-changing for me and helped me with some more direction on what I want to do. So yeah.
I love that. I think it's so true. For me, it's too, it's so much easier to learn that way when you're actually doing it versus just reading it or being lectured about it. So that's really, really cool that she does that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I know every college student hates getting this question, but do you have plans or hopes for what's next after you graduate?
Yeah. So currently, I would have said I hated this question a year ago, but I have a little more sense of direction now. Feels like it's about crunch time and I need to figure it out, so I'm working towards that. But my plan is I want to go into athletic administration. I currently work in our athletic front office under our athletic director, and I've enjoyed that. I've done it for the past 3 years, I believe, and it's been a super great experience. It's opened a lot of doors for me. He was able to take me to the NCAA convention. Have an internship right now with our conference commissioner for the UMAC. So I'm super involved in our conference and things like that, and I've loved it so much. So I think the next step will be either pursuing a master's in sport administration or an MBA of sorts. So I'll probably do that online and then get a job either in our athletic department if one opens up or across campus in advising or admissions just for a couple years while I finish out my master's program. So that's my plan as of right now.
So now we'll get to some story time. And the first thing I want to hear from both of you is your funniest or craziest but appropriate story. So we'll flip the direction and have you start this one, Naya.
All right. Well, funniest but craziest appropriate story narrows down some of my stories I would tell, I would say. I think for me, this one's kind of a funny story. As I mentioned, I work in the athletic front office under our athletic director. His name's Nick Bursick, and Nick likes to play jokes sometimes. And so this past year, I said we were in lacrosse for the NCAA tournament. And so usually we'll go to a plated dinner the night before we play. Friends, family, alumni, they're all invited to come celebrate the year we've had and hopefully send us into our game with high spirits, things like that. So we get to this restaurant, super nice restaurant. We walk in, we have plated dinners all set out, things like that. And you go and find your name tag or whatever. And on mine, it says, Nia Wilson, happy birthday. And I was like, oh no. I was like, I knew he had made the reservations because he was talking to me about it. And I was like, oh goodness, what is about to happen? So we have our dinner and the waiter comes up to me and they're like, happy birthday, ma'am. Like, I was like, thank you so much. I'm like so red in the face. And my birthday was 2 months prior. So all my teammates, of course, went along with it. And then part of the dinner was we got dessert, so I didn't get any special dessert or anything like that, which is nice because I wouldn't have wanted a whole show. But then my teammates took it upon themselves to make sure there was a show, and they all sang me happy birthday.
See, if you're gonna torture me by putting me in the center of attention, I want a special dessert at least.
Yeah, no, for real. I was like, I don't even get something special.
Where's my cake? That's funny. We actually had that on another podcast recently where that was the team's tradition was to go to Texas Roadhouse and make it someone's birthday every time so you get a real show. So I love that. That's funny. Anna, how about your favorite or funniest, craziest memory?
So I guess we also kind of were pranksters as well. A group of seniors decided to prank Allison. We decided to print off a bunch of pictures of our rosters, like our roster photos, and print off a bunch of them and cut them out. We probably printed off like 100 at least, and we placed them all in like hidden in her office. On just like a random night. I think her office was locked. Naya, did you help us get the key that time?
Yeah, I probably did. Yeah.
So we had to kind of steal the key sort of and get in there, and we were just taping our faces up everywhere. It was very funny. And we she's got a lamp in her office, and we put one of each of our face inside of the lampshade so that when she turns it on, it just like illuminates our face. It was hilarious. Honestly, I think some of them are probably still there
Yeah,
now.
no, they are. I think it took her a while to find them all, but I
We
think
were
they're all
very
accounted
thorough.
for, and a lot of them are still up, I think. So when she turns on her lamp, I'm like, oh, hey, Anna, how's it going? Nice of you to
She
join
can
our
just never get
conversation.
rid of us. That
Yeah.
was the whole point, is that it would take her forever to get rid of us. But yeah, that was fun. It's fun that she just leaves them there, because I knew that if we put enough, she probably just wouldn't find them all, or she would just give up, and I think that's just what happened. I think she likes seeing it there sometimes. Little reminder.
That's awesome. Now let's think about favorite memories. So just something that you hold near and dear to you from your years. And once again, we'll flip the order and have Anna go first.
Yeah, I struggled to pin down one specific memory. There's definitely a lot of highlights over the 4 years that I spent at Superior. One of them, I guess, was beating Scholastica my freshman year. It was a very tough game. That was the year we'd made playoffs for the first time in program history. We won our first game in a PK shootout, so we advanced to the semis where we faced Scholastica, and somehow we kept it at 0-0 for like the entire game. It finally gets down to the last minute of the game, and we had an opportunity, and I somehow drew a corner, and I hit this corner, and my roommate, actually, Erin, her first and only goal she's ever scored for the program was that goal against Scholastica, and they are our rivals. I suppose I should probably give that little backstory. That's the whole like Battle of the Bridge or Battle of the Bay or whatever. So that was like a big deal, and they were very good that year, and they'd beaten us the other times that we had played them. So that the fact that we went up 1-0 with less than a minute left, but I think they hit probably like 15 shots in the last 30 seconds or something like that. They had 3 corners, I think, at least in the last 30 seconds. Like, they were really giving it to us, but somehow we survived, and we beat them 1-0 and made it to the championship game again for the first time in program history. So that was pretty crazy. I think that whole experience kind of just really ignited the fire to make it back to that championship game and to win it. At least I think for my class, that was a big game and a big experience that led to that desire. So that's definitely a big one. I know Naya can relate to this one, but breaking out the all-time goal record, that was a pretty cool moment. I had no idea that I was even close to it until probably back like half of the season. But it was just a cool moment to be able to be with the team. And really those are the people that got me to that point. So, and then, yeah, just wrapping it all up senior year, going to nationals. Like I said, from freshman year, that was like the goal. That was the thing that we wanted to get to, and to be able to do that in our last year, that was really special.
That's awesome. Naya, how about for you?
Yeah, I think for me, I kind of run through, we've won 3 now, conference championships, started with Anna's senior year, and then my junior year and my senior year. And I have one left, as I mentioned, with the COVID year, but lots of favorite memories within that all. I think my favorite part of all of this was all the friends I made along the way. I know that I've met like some of my best friends that I will talk to for the rest of my life. So I think that plays a huge role into it. And when I think back on college soccer, I think the friends will stand out more than any of the games will. But I think this previous year, so the 2023 season, we went into playoffs. We were the #1 seed in our conference tournament, and it's formatted where there's 4 teams. So the 1 plays the 4, the 2 plays the 3 first round. And we went into this game against Crown College, and I think it was 0-0 at half. Maybe they had scored by then, but they scored the first goal. And that was kind of like a oh boy moment, because that's something that hadn't happened to us in a while. Usually we put the ball in the net first and take that momentum. So then we're like, that's okay, like we'll put one in the back of the net, we're good. And then it got down to 15 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. And it was still 1-0, we were still down, and we're all just kind of looking at each other. We're like, what's going on? It was crazy. It was like there's saran wrap on the goal. I can't tell you how many times we hit the post, how many times they saved the ball on the goal line. It was just absolutely nuts. So I think it was like 13 minutes left, and it was off a corner, I want to say. The ball was bouncing around in the box. And I think Allison Alessi put it in the back of the net, and we're all just looking at each other like, oh my gosh, okay, we're good. We're in this. We're good. We're not losing. We're going to advance to the next round, but we got to find one more goal. So then we kick off or whatever, steal the ball from them. And our right wing, Liberty Dickerson, was coming down the right side, and she served a ball in, and I was in the box. And I got a touch on it and shot it. And right as it went off my foot, I was like, oh, that's so far wide. Like, I was like, there's no way that's going in. And somehow, some way, it bounced just right and spun right into the corner of the net. And I haven't felt that much adrenaline in a long time, because I thought we were down and out. We were all looking at each other like, this is what's going on. So that was cool. And then to go on to the championship, it was another competitive game against Northwestern, who I would say is our greatest opponent within our conference. They always provide a good game for us, and it's always a good rivalry, and I think it's a healthy one. They're a great group of girls. Like, we're pretty friendly with them and stuff, but when we get on the field and play, it's a cool thing because it's 2 good teams playing against each other. That was a close game. Took us a while to break through with a goal. We did eventually, and then we put 2 more in and sent us to the national the national tournament. And I think just for this year, it's supposed to be my last year. If COVID hadn't happened, it would have been my last year. So I think being able to reflect on the fact that I get 1 more year and be thankful and grateful for that, that's been my greatest realization through winning this year. I think in the years previous, I was like, oh yeah, this is super awesome. But I think this year it's like a little bit of a deeper meaning, and a little bit more appreciation on my end for the fact that I'm lucky enough to have 1 more year to go and chase that conference championship.
Definitely. Just out of curiosity, when you started, did you guys play in that spring after you started, or did you guys not play at all in that 2021 year?
Yeah, we did play in the spring.
Okay.
So it was a 10 game.
Mm-hmm.
10 games, Anna, do you remember?
Yeah, it was 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So smaller season, but we still did get 10 of them. So
Okay. Everyone was hit or miss on that because there was no national tournament from my recollection. So
right.
it was just kind of conferences or schools playing. So yeah, that's exciting. So we're going to start to wrap it up. I have a couple more questions for you kind of about Division III, as this podcast is part of our anniversary celebration. So the first one I have for both of you is just, what does it mean to you to be or to have been a D3 student athlete? What has that experience meant to you? So Naya, you can start.
Yeah, being a D3 student athlete has been honestly one of the best parts of my life. Like I said before, I've met some of my best friends. I've had some of the best experiences. And as Anna talked about, our coach Allison is really big on like caring about us as people. So a lot of that meant we worked a lot on character development and becoming leaders, and how our time in sports is going to translate to our professional careers or whatever we choose to do after college. And I mean, I think I've learned so much in college about who I am, about who I want to be, about what I want to do. And I don't think that's possible without our athletic department has supported us so well. I think Anna can attest to that as well. Between our athletic admins and Allison, like we were in an environment, and I am in an environment where they want us to succeed and they'll give us the tools to do so. And it's not just about on the field, it's in the classroom, it's after we graduate and things like that. So I think the connections I've made with people and how I've grown as a person would be the biggest takeaways from my time in D3 athletics.
Awesome. Anna, how about you?
Yeah, I feel like it's a really, like, it's just a well-rounded experience. You're getting a lot of personal interaction and just athletically. I think I have to echo a lot of what Naya said. Like, I grew so much as a person in the 4 years that I spent at Superior, and the 4 years that I spent in that program under Allison, doing all those leadership trainings. Even like emotionally recognizing where you're at, recognizing where other people are at. And I think it made me a lot more empathetic to other people, their thoughts and their feelings and what they might be going through at any given time. I think that's helped me a lot now moving forward and moving past that. I'm able to use a lot of those things that we worked on as a team now in professional settings. And I think that's really important, how well those like D3 experiences and the experiences that we had will translate into the future and into your life beyond beyond college and beyond athletics. But yeah, just a lot, like, crazy time of personal growth. I do feel like I learned a lot about who I am and who I want to be. And I feel like I have a lot to owe to Allison and to the program and to all the people I spent time with. Still very close with my roommates that I lived with in Superior, and one of them actually just got married, and I was in her wedding. It's a great experience. Really grateful to have the experiences that I had and be able to retain those friendships and those relationships. Just overall, it's been, yeah, an amazing experience, and I'm really grateful to the university and just all around.
All right, there's one last question for both of you, and I'll have you start it, Anna, and Naya, you can close this out. But this podcast is part of our 50th anniversary, so we're 50 years down, many more to come. When you pull out a crystal ball or try to take an educated guess, what do you see, or maybe even what do you hope to see for the future of Division III? And that can be women's soccer specific or just general Division III. So Anna, you can start.
Yeah, I feel like it's only going to grow as people see the advantages to it. You get such a quality athletic experience while also getting a quality academic experience, and just being able to have that well-rounded experience, I think has so many advantages. And I think as people see that, and it's just going to grow and grow, and people are going to want the experiences that we had. I think our university specifically had small classes, but that high level athletics experience that I had said, I think that was really important, because I like when I knew when I came in that I wanted to play sports. I wanted to play soccer, and I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go academically. But being able to do that and have the support that I was given at that D3 level to get a quality experience athletically, but then have enough support and enough time to also um, kind of experiment academically to see where I fit the best. I think that's such a unique experience. And I just think that it's so important to create well-rounded individuals and moving forward. So,
Right? Naya?
Yeah, I think for me, the future of Division III is very interesting to think about, especially because I want to pursue a career in athletic administration and kind of have looked into the realm of working in Division III and things like that. But I think the sky's the limit. It's been super cool in just my 4 years here to see the growth within our athletics department, as far as what we have done in our communications and media department, like game day experience, game day operations. Like, it's been super cool to see the advances that have been made. And I think that's only just the beginning. Looking forward, I think that women's soccer, it's super cool to watch. I know there's been more coverage for D3 sports for championships. I think signed a deal with ESPN or something like that, where a few more sports are covered championships wise for Division III. I think that's super cool. And I think just the model of it, the student athlete model, where we're just playing for the love of the game, is super cool, and it brings out super great stories and storylines throughout seasons. And I'm just excited to see the future of Division III and plan to track our schools, how they do in women's soccer in the years to come. So I'm excited.
Well, thank you both so much for joining me tonight to chat all things Superior women's soccer. I had a great time, and I appreciate you both for taking time.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
yeah, thank you.
To everyone listening, thanks for tuning into this episode of Small Talk. We post new episodes every week. To follow along with everything Division III, you can find us on social media at NCAA D3 or NCAA DIII. Make sure to join the conversation with us all year long by using the hashtag DIII50. Have a great day, and we'll see you for some more Small Talk next week.